Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 13th. Boy, this month is going by fast, just like all the others. Today, I have one finished item for today's podcast, and that is this shawl. It has not been blocked. It is done in dark orchid, and this is the name of the shawl that I was working on is called the Oaklet Lace Shawl by Megan Goodacre. Now on her website, TrixieKnitter.com, she has quite a few free patterns. She has the Oaklet shawl, which is a little bit different than this one, not by much, but this is one of the very first ones that she had put out as a freebie. She had a booklet, a PDF booklet that she used to give out years and years ago that has quite a few, I think it has 2 other shawls in it, and this is out of that booklet. But the Oaklet shawl that she has listed free is close enough to this. You will notice that I have used just a regular worsted weight yarn, and I have used a size 8 needle to knit it. And I will tell you the way that I block acrylic generally is I will wash it in the washer and dryer, and then I will lay it out after it's spun as much as possible and just let it dry on its own. Generally I just lay it flat, pull it the way I want it to look, and it works fine. I have heard a lot of people, to block acrylic, you have to use a steam iron, you have to be careful. I will do that for a shawl that I am going to keep in acrylic. For someone who is not going to block this and kill the acrylic, which is what you do, you keep it from actually taking on its properties again, and you're kind of not really melting it, but sort of close. So what I choose to do is either do that or wash it, put it in the dryer, and then hang it over, because I do it at the laundromat, hang it over, normally where you would hang the hanging clothes. I will hang it over and let it drape. And generally just the weight of that, when it's still sort of wet, will block it real nice. Other than that, like I said, lay it out flat somewhere, outside, on the carpet, whatever, and just let it dry naturally on its own. They come out beautiful regardless of how you do it. And I am one of those that when I see a shawl pattern I like, and they call for those fancy yarns, I don't use those fancy yarns. And one of the reasons I don't use the fancy yarns are that a tremendous amount of my work goes for charity, goes for people who are going through hard times. Generally, a lot of them are going through cancer treatments, those kind of things. And to add on you have to wash it this way, has to be laid out this way, blocked it this way. That is a lot of hardship on those folks. So I just use acrylics. Many times if I see something that says it needs to be in a DK weight, I may use a size 3 acrylic yarn for that, and it works out fine. But many times, this one I think she called for I'm not sure if it was DK weight or a fingering weight, but it was going to be a really small shawlette type. You notice how big that is? When you use it in a coordinating needle size 8, size 9, size 10, 10.5 with some of these shawls that call for a size 5. They come out beautifully, nice, large, and can be used by anyone. So, that's the way I do it, just because it says it has to be one of those real fancy high-end dollar yarns. No, don't be afraid to experiment. I have done shawls that called for a size 5 needle knit that were acrylic and used a size 11 needles on it, and they're beautiful. So, yeah, just play with it, have fun with the patterns, you know, don't be afraid to try something a little different. That is it for finished objects. I spent a lot of time. I wanted to get that done, get it off those needles. I have some other things I want to put on needles. I do believe that I have found the pattern for that sweater. Um, it looks like it was a Japanese cable. I have not tried it yet on the actual pattern. I have done a small swatch with it, and it looks close enough. Of course, I didn't have that same fine yarn, so I was using a larger yarn. It looks close, so I'm going to attempt that later on this afternoon, and we'll see how that goes. Of course, I have some sewing to do. I'm very far behind on that, and there are some specific reasons that I am behind on that. And I will get to those at a later point in time, but not today. Nothing bad, just, had to get to those later. Acquisitions. Now, I have a lot of people that walk up to me and hand me things like this. Now, a lot of people would look at these and go, oh, those are so old. A little Sayel, a little Magic Match 3. I don't know what kind of yarn this was, but this one came from Ames. It was 69 cents. This was at a garage sale, 25 cents. And the person that actually brought this to me, her husband, they're snowbirds, so they go to Florida every year. But they do a lot of things with garage sales, purchasing things at garage sales, and then reselling them up at Penn's Cave when they have those lovely little shows and stuff like that. They do pretty well on that, and they also take houses, fix them up, and flip them. So, whenever he gets yarn he can't use in a garage sale, it comes my way. So I'll use it. Like I said, it softens up real nice. I've never had a yarn not soften up nicely when you put it in the washing machine with a little softener. And or, here's my favorite way to soften it. You just take the wrappers off, put it in a lingerie bag, soak it in a little hair conditioner. Yes, I said hair conditioner. And or softener. Then you rinse it out real well. You kind of squeeze it dry. You don't do a lot of wringing. Squeeze it dry, throw it in the dryer. Let it dry as far as it'll go, even in the skeins like this. Because it's in the lingerie bag, it generally doesn't get too messed up. And then you just lay it off to the side and let it air dry the rest of the way through, and it's real nice and soft to work with. I've done that countless times, and it works well. Now, my husband, we decided to stop at Michael's this weekend. We hadn't been to Michael's in a long time. He refuses to go into the Michael's in State College. That's my preferred Michael's, just because I like the layout a little bit better. They have a little more yarn, and people are a little friendlier there. Don't know why, just are. There's yarn involved. Do I need it? No. these were some Karen cakes that were marked down. They were marked down to $2.97 in my store. And if you're looking for any more of them, these are the only two they had, and they're mine. And this is the Funfetti color. These are, I believe these are all acrylic. Nope, they're 80% acrylic, 20% wool. And it is 7.1 ounces. And I got 2 of them. So that is it for acquisitions. And that is it for basically the podcast as far as that part is. Now we're kind of going to move on to some, what in tarnation? You know, there's going to be stories. Now, if you are frightened of spiders, well, these aren't really spiders, but if you're really frightened of spider-like animals, especially tarantulas, you would be doing well to stay away from Colorado area. Why? This is the tarantula mating season, and migration begins. And it can be quite scary to see these critters. Although, I grew up in New Mexico. We had tarantulas all over the place. The big black ones, you know. When it rained, they'd come out of the ground. Got used to them. At dusk, across highways in southeastern Colorado, thousands of Oklahoma brown tarantulas are beginning their annual trek searching for mates. The hairy eight-legged beast, about 3 inches long, migrate in large numbers near La Junta, Colorado. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The males are about 10 years old and only have one chance to mate with females who wait in burrows in the Colorado grasslands. And that is an entomology professor, Whitney Crenshaw, at the Colorado State University said. They'll be dead by Christmas. Well, that's kind of sad. Colorado's tarantula migrations begin in late August and last through September, with many crossing the Comanche National Grassland, especially along Highway 109. Tarantulas are sometimes sold in pet stores as pets, but catching one is against wildlife regulations, wildlife officials say. Although the spiders are usually harmless, tarantula bites contain a mild venom that can cause an allergic reaction, much like a bee sting. So, if you don't want to see them walking across the highway looking for a honey bunny, stay away from that area. For those of you people whose last name is Green, 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 you're in luck. Airline's Green Week includes free flights for people named Green, or Green with an E on the end. Budget carrier Frontier Airlines is promoting its Green Week initiative by offering free flights to people with the last name Green, spelled either way, with or without the E on the end. Frontier, which is marking Green Week from Tuesday, which is yesterday, to August the 20th, to highlight its efforts to become the most eco-friendly airline in the United States, said people with the surnames of Green are being offered free flights of up to $400. The airline said eligible travelers must book at Frontier's website and will receive a full refund of up to $400 when their names are confirmed. The traveler's departing flight must leave Tuesday to be eligible for the promotion and must return by 11:59 August 20th when Green Week ends. Well, if you didn't book it by yesterday, you're out of luck. Sorry. Won't, won't. Now, I'd like to volunteer as this intern. Let's just say I love bacon. I think it's tasty. I love bacon. Company seeks bacon intern to make $1,000 eating bacon for one day. Me. I'll do it. A West Coast restaurant chain announced it is seeking a bacon intern to make $1,000 in a single day by taste testing bacon. Farmer Boys announced the opening for the dream job on its website, stipulating that applicants should use a photo or video on their Instagram accounts to explain why they would be best suited to the position. I love bacon. The bacon intern would also only work a single 8-hour day and receive $1,000 for their bacon tasting services, the eatery said. Entries are being accepted through August 20th, Farmer Boys said. So, if you're looking for an easy job, one-day job, $1,000, Farmer Boys is your place to go, especially if you love bacon. Now, this next one is a little, I think, crazy, but I see where they're coming from. Scientists create drinkable vodka from Chernobyl water grain. A group of scientists announced they have created vodka from ingredients found inside the Chernobyl exclusion zone and verified that it is safe to drink. Atomic vodka was created by the University of Portsmouth scientists from grain and water from inside the exclusion zone as part of a 3-year research project into the radioactivity of crops grown inside the 19-mile radius around the Chernobyl nuclear plant, which experienced a reactor explosion in 1986. 30 years after the accident, we found was that in the area the crops were slightly above the very cautious Ukrainian limit for consumption. So technically you can't eat these crops. But we thought, well, we've got some grain. Why don't we try making a vodka? That is their project leader, Jim Smith, told CNN. Smith's team found distilling the vodka reduced the reactive contamination to an undetectable level, making it safe to drink. When you distill something, lots of impurities stay in the waste product, and the final product is more pure. That is true. And that's what we found with our vodka. We fermented the grain, then distilled it. We found that we couldn't measure any radioactivity in the product, except the natural carbon-14 that you find in any spirit drinks or any food, Smith said. He said the newly founded Chernobyl Spirit Company will soon be selling atomic vodka, with 75% of profits going to communities affected by the disaster. The vodka will be the first consumer product from the exclusion zone since the disaster. Zombies? Can anybody say zombies? I don't know that I would trust that. I do know that, yes, it does take a lot of impurities out, but, my questions are going to be, did you carbon date that? Did you run this test? Did you run that? So, yeah, it's a little scary. That is it for today's podcast. Short and sweet. Of course, the good thing with Vlogist is you're going to get shorter videos. I have been doing a lot of other things this past week or so. So, I don't have as much finished. And, winter is coming. Winter, I'm always like a bunny rabbit. Lots and lots of items done. So, that's it for today. And we'll see you again soon. And remember, choose kindness.